Hello everybody, it is Incon and I'm just going to talk about some of the things that have been happening this week that went down. We're going to talk about the change that we went from complexity to Melior Morior. We're going to talk about a little bit about the Challenger Cup, and then we're going to do a little bit of review of our game that we had versus Denial Esports this weekend. So the very first thing is been on everybody's mind. We've talked a bit about it, but we have changed from being with Complexity to being our own organization, Melior Morior. We are sponsored by AFK Gaming Lounge in San Jose. People have been asking why we have done this. For us, we love the guys at Complexity, and we wish them the best. If they decide to pick up another Smite team, we hope they do well. But for us, it just wasn't quite the right fix. We weren't fitting exactly how we wanted to be fitting in. And so that relationship has ended, and we are moving on into our own organization that's really going to help us continue to build ourselves, our individual brands, and grow as a team. We ended up in a very good situation where we're really going to be able to dedicate a lot of our time towards Smite, really building our team. And I think that showed kind of with this first game against Denial. Secondly, the Challenger Cup this time. For those who haven't been keeping up with it, it wasn't streamed. I think that was because a lot of the casters were off doing pack stuff. I'm not actually 100% sure why that was, but I imagine that it's going to be streamed from now on, and they just had a lack of casters, so the casters had to be doing the SPL over the Challenger League. But for those who don't know, the winner was Legion. Legion won 2-0 over Busters, I believe is the name. Jerby's team got second place. And a lot of people, I think, would be surprised by that. That Eager was not there, or Polyjuice. Polyjuice getting knocked out in the round of 8, I believe, along with Eager getting knocked out in the round of 8. Polyjuice losing to It's a Sad Day, which is Nick's team. If you recall, all the way back, St. Nick was our middle laner on Snipe at the 200k tournament, launch tournament. That is his team. They knocked out Polyjuice and continued onward. Busters knocked out Eager from the round of 8 and continued onward, and then Busters won that semifinals game, sending It's a Sad Day to the third, fourth place match. In the bottom bracket, it was Legion versus Return, and the Legion won that, sending Team Return to the bottom bracket. Team Return won that bottom bracket game, and then the top two obviously was Legion and Busters. Legion played very well. I was actually surprised that Busters beat Eager and then did not win the whole thing. But we'll have to see how that turns out next week. I imagine it's going to be soft-seeded now, since there's going to be points, 100 for first, 60 for second, the typical point values. So I imagine it's going to be seeded now, so I'm curious as to see who's going to be against who. That'll depend on, who gets seeded from the 5th through 8th place tie, 9th through 16th place tie or whatever, how those get randomly seeded will have an effect on that. Do I think Legion will get first place again? They could, if it ends up being Legion's Busters again, but I really think it's going to be Eager taking down next week. This is their first real week to grow as a team now that they've switched positions. Dare to Care into the jungle, Laxus in the mid, and Aurora as support. That's a lot of changes all over the place. Only consistent right now really is Zatman as ADC and Toli in the solo lane, who hasn't even been in the solo lane for really that long. But that's the only consistency left in the team. But they play very well in scrims, and they just need to transfer that over to their games, and they're going to be first place, no problem, in the Challenger Cup. So, lastly, our topic is we had our first SPL game versus Denial Esports. We were very excited for this game. We consider Denial to be a very strong team, the strongest team that we have played in the SPL from the teams that we have scrimmed against. We have not got to play Cloud9 or Name Changers, TSM. I'm not sure what they actually are right now. Something weird happened. I think they're TSM. But we haven't got to play either of them because they only scrim each other, much like they did last season. So between the other teams, Denial's a very strong team. We were very prepared going into the games. We did a lot of research. We wanted to make sure we were ready because we know Denial is a team that can come out and just stomp on you in the first 3 minutes. They're really an early game focused team. So we tried to build earlier game team comps. We built a lot of Isis on Kiki, a lot of Sylvanas. We wanted to make sure we had strong level 1, strong through to level 5s to try to get an early game presence, because if you get an early game presence, they typically play aggressively throughout the entire game. But if you take away the early game wins, that means they're playing aggressively when behind, and that doesn't typically work that well. Our strategy did work out very well. Everybody played individually very strong. Allied getting a ton of kills. Cyclone did not die one time in the entire 2 matches. Kiki played very strongly. Weekend went off on Circuit the second game. I just kind of sat back and Sylvanas things and went, woo, I'm getting assists, I'm getting fantasy points. I don't really do anything, but I heal, and I pull, and I root, and I see no singing right now. But we hope to bring that kind of level of competition to the rest of our games. Our next game is going to be streamed, I believe, on Thursday. I believe that'll be the evening, probably around 8 EST or something. I'm not sure the exact streaming schedule. But our next game is against Cognitive Gaming. That'll be a good game. We're pretty good friends with those guys over there on COG, so we hope to bring the same level of competitiveness that we did in the Denial game for against those guys. And if we do that, we believe we can walk away with the win. But as always, we're going to be doing our research and really preparing for that game. I hope to see you guys pretty soon. If you like the YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to keep you guys informed. I'm hoping to do more vlogs kind of throughout this SPL just to kind of keep everything updated on how the Challenger Cup's going, how the SPL is going, all stuff like that. But I love you guys. Please follow me on YouTube and have a twitching day, y'all.